Chosen one. You are not hearing this by accident, and you did not arrive at this moment by chance. Before you pressed play, heaven had already marked this second as a divine appointment with your name written on it. What drew you here was not curiosity, it was alignment. Perfect spiritual timing has converged, and your spirit recognized the call before your mind could explain it. Anointed one, hear this with clarity and reverence. You are standing at the edge of a supernatural breakthrough. This is not a slow unfolding. This is sudden elevation. This is divine acceleration. This is a heaven-sent shift where what was delayed is now being released, what was hidden is being revealed, and what was withheld is being transferred into your hands. As it is written in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3, the vision is for an appointed time, and though it lingered, it will surely speak and not lie. That appointed time is now pressing toward you. What felt like isolation was preparation. What felt like resistance was refinement. What felt like silence was heaven building capacity inside you. Chosen one. The old version of you has completed its assignment. The healed you is emerging. The aligned you is rising. From this moment forward, nothing and no one can stop what the divine has already written concerning your life. The atmosphere is shifting. Your season to shine has begun. Chosen one. There comes a moment when the noise inside you begins to quiet in a way you cannot explain, when the chaos that once lived in your chest starts dissolving like fog under morning light. It does not happen because life suddenly becomes easier. It happens because something deep within you shifts, something sacred, something divine, something that whispers, you are finally ready. This inner stillness is not weakness. It is spiritual authority rising. It is heaven settling your spirit for the elevation that is already unfolding around you. And if you have felt this sudden peace after years of wrestling with your own thoughts, then hear me clearly. You are stepping into a season where what once tormented you will no longer have access to you. The storms that used to shake you now barely move you. The voices that once planted doubt now sound distant, powerless, irrelevant. This is not denial. This is alignment. I know what this feels like because I have lived it myself. There were seasons where my mind was a battlefield, where overthinking became a constant companion, where fear made every decision feel heavy and every step feel unsafe. I searched for peace in the world around me, only to find more confusion, more noise, more expectations. But the day I stopped trying to force clarity and allowed God to breathe into my spirit, something changed. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic. It was subtle, soft, yet unmistakable, like a gentle hand settling on my shoulder, reminding me that I was never walking alone. That same peace is reaching for you now, anointed one. Not the peace that comes from circumstances, but the peace that comes from heaven's reassurance that your path is unfolding exactly as it should. When this kind of peace enters, it doesn't ask permission. It simply takes its place. Suddenly, the urgency to control every outcome loosens its grip. You stop replaying old mistakes in your mind. You stop fearing chapters that haven't even been written yet. You begin trusting the timing of your life, trusting the quiet guidance inside you, trusting that the divine has already walked ahead of you and prepared the way. This is the peace that comes when your soul catches up with your growth. For so long, your spirit was maturing in the unseen. You were being stretched, refined, reshaped by experiences that often felt unfair. But now, your inner world is finally aligning with the version of you heaven has been building. This peace is not empty. It carries instruction. It whispers, Prepare. It nudges you to breathe deeper, rest more, listen closer. It tells you that blessings settle in the spirit before they manifest in the physical, and once they settle, nothing can uproot them. I've noticed that whenever I'm about to step into a new chapter, peace always arrives first. Not because everything around me is perfect, but because something inside me is secure. Even when the external world looks uncertain, my spirit feels anchored. That is how I know heaven is moving. Chosen. 1. You may not realize it yet, but this inner quiet is your confirmation that divine timing is at work. What used to drain you no longer interests you. The battles that consumed you feel strangely small. The fears that once paralyzed you now seem like shadows fading in the presence of a greater light. You are being prepared for something you cannot yet see, and preparation always begins with the settling of the spirit. When peace enters, blessings follow. Not by chance, but by spiritual law. Nothing flows into chaos, but everything flourishes in stillness. You are learning to release the pressure to prove yourself. You are learning to trust what you feel instead of fighting it. You are learning to stand firm in who you are becoming rather than clinging to who you used to be. And the more you surrender to this peace, the more heaven aligns things on your behalf. People shift. Situations shift, opportunities shift, not because you chase them, but because you are attracting what matches your new vibration. There is a reason the universe becomes quieter right before a breakthrough. It is clearing the path. It is steadying your spirit. It is preparing you to receive what you once prayed for with trembling hands, but can now hold with confidence. Anointed One, do not overlook this moment. The sudden peace you feel is not coincidence. It is heaven's announcement that you are entering a higher realm of purpose, clarity, and favor. And once this peace takes root, nothing and no one can take from you what God has already marked as yours. Chosen One. There is a sacred shift that happens when heaven begins to elevate you, a shift not just within you, but around you. Suddenly, people who once overlooked you seem unusually quiet. People who doubted you begin to watch more closely. People who dismissed you start sensing something in you that they can't explain but can no longer deny. This silence around your life is not emptiness. It is recognition. It is spiritual acknowledgement. It is the universe rearranging the atmosphere because your breakthrough is approaching. And if you have noticed certain people becoming distant, reserved, or strangely observant, understand this. They can feel your rise before you feel it yourself. I've lived through this shift, Anointed One. I remember when people who once talked over me began to pause when I spoke. People who once ignored my potential suddenly acted cautious, almost nervous, as if they sensed something I hadn't fully stepped into yet. At first it confused me. I wondered if I had changed too much or become distant without realizing it. But over time, I understood. It wasn't that I had become less accessible. It was that my spirit had become too elevated for certain energies to approach casually. Your glow, your growth, your alignment. They carry weight, now spiritual weight, that others can feel long before the blessings appear in the physical realm. When a chosen one is being lifted, the atmosphere responds before the evidence does. People become silent, not because they no longer care, but because they no longer know how to approach who you are becoming. Your elevation confronts their stagnation. Your growth threatens the comfort of their limitations. The moment you stop shrinking, someone else feels exposed. The moment you start aligning, someone else feels insecure. This is why certain individuals begin to withdraw or watch from afar like quiet spectators. They sense the divine hand on your life, and it humbles them in ways they may never admit. You may notice that the very people who once found pleasure in your setbacks now carry an unusual tension in your presence. They can't explain it, but they feel it. They feel the spiritual authority rising in you. They feel the clarity taking shape around you. They feel the favor walking ahead of you. They feel the shift in your spirit, even before you've fully stepped into it. And though they may never say it out loud, their silence reveals everything they know. The season has changed. Chosen one. Understand that your elevation disrupts environments that were comfortable with your former self. The moment you outgrow the version of you they were familiar with, their behavior adjusts. Some will quietly admire you, others will silently distance themselves. A few will watch every move, not out of support, but out of curiosity, wondering how you turned pressure into power and storms into strength. Don't internalize their silence as rejection. Read it as confirmation. You are rising, and they can feel the tremor. This shift in how people respond to you is evidence that heaven is expanding your territory. When you carry divine momentum, others feel the wind, even if they don't understand where it's coming from. A new confidence radiates from you. A new clarity surrounds you. You walk differently, speak differently, think differently. Not because you forced anything, but because your spirit has aligned with your purpose. When that alignment becomes strong, recognition becomes unavoidable. And recognition, even in silence, is a sign of spiritual promotion. You will notice that the same people who once questioned your direction now hesitate to offer their opinions. That's not because you became intimidating. It's because they know their words no longer carry weight in your life. Your spirit is no longer seeking validation. Your destiny is no longer fragile. Your purpose is no longer negotiable. When a chosen one steps into this level of identity, those who underestimated you begin to feel the magnitude of who you truly are. I remember when someone who doubted me for years finally said, "You seem different." It wasn't arrogance they sensed, it was alignment. It was the calm authority of someone who stopped apologizing for their calling. When you begin to honor what heaven has placed inside you, even the people who once doubted you will recognize the transformation. They may not celebrate you, but they cannot deny you. Chosen one. You must understand something. Sacred elevation exposes truth. It reveals who is truly aligned with your journey and who was only comfortable with your struggle. As you rise, some will pull away because they can no longer hide behind the excuses that once justified their distance. Others will stay close, not because they love you, but because they fear missing what God is about to do in your life. And then there will be the genuine few, the rare souls sent to walk with you into your next season, not out of envy, but out of divine connection. The shift in how people respond is not meant to discourage you. It is meant to prepare you. It is heaven's way of showing you who you can take with you and who cannot carry the weight of the next chapter. Not everyone is meant to witness your elevation up close. Some are meant to watch from afar. Some are meant to watch in silence. Some are meant to leave altogether, and that is perfectly aligned with divine order. Anointed one, embrace the quiet, embrace the distance, embrace the strange shift in energy around you. These are not signs of loss, they are signs of ascension. When people become silent, heaven becomes loud. When people step back, destiny steps forward. When people grow uncomfortable, it is because your spirit is expanding beyond the limits of who they believed you were. This is your confirmation you are rising, and even those who never believed in you can feel it. Chosen one. When heaven begins aligning your steps with divine timing, life stops resisting you and starts responding to you. The pressure that once weighed you down begins to lift, And suddenly, the things you chased for years start moving toward you with ease. Opportunities that once seemed sealed shut begin to open without you knocking. Resources that once felt out of reach begin to appear at the exact moment they are needed. Connections that used to feel forced now flow with a natural grace. This shift is not luck. It is not coincidence. It is spiritual synchronization. It is the universe, the divine heaven itself saying, "You are ready now." I know this season well, anointed one. I have walked through long stretches of life where nothing seemed to work, where every door was heavy, where every plan required force, where every breakthrough felt delayed. I questioned myself, my purpose, my timing. I wondered why effort produced so little fruit. But when the divine timing finally aligned with my preparation, everything changed. I didn't become someone different overnight, not outwardly, but inwardly everything had matured. My mindset had shifted, my faith had deepened, my discernment had sharpened. And when the internal world transforms, the external world has no choice but to follow. This is why opportunities are now appearing without you chasing them, chosen one. It is not because life suddenly became generous. It is because you have elevated into a frequency where what belongs to you cannot hide anymore. When you rise spiritually, everything that matches your new level begins to orbit your life. You become a magnet for alignment. You attract from your growth, not from your effort. I remember a time when I spent months trying to create the right connections, sending messages, applying, reaching out, hoping someone would believe in what I carried. Nothing landed, nothing stuck. But the moment I healed deeper, the moment I released my desperation, the moment I finally trusted divine timing, invitations began arriving from places I never expected. People recommended me without me asking. Doors opened that I didn't know existed, all because internal alignment always produces external favor. And this is exactly what is happening for you now. Life is shifting to meet you at your new level. You are no longer pushing against timelines not meant for you. You are no longer trying to force people to see your value. You are no longer stretching yourself thin to prove you are worthy. The universe responds to confidence, not fear, to clarity, not confusion, to alignment, not desperation. And now that your spirit is aligned, heaven can finally release what was being held until you were ready. Chosen one, notice how things feel easier now. Not effortless in the sense that you do nothing, but effortless in the sense that nothing feels forced. When something is meant for you, it flows. When something carries divine timing, it arrives without chaos. You meet the right people without searching. You encounter breakthroughs without stressing. You receive answers without begging. There is a peace behind every movement, a calm behind every step, a certainty behind every opportunity. This is the spiritual signature of divine alignment. You may also notice that creativity is returning to you. Ideas that once felt blocked now come freely. Vision that felt dim now feels illuminated. Inspiration that felt distant now flows through you with fresh intensity. This is because your spirit is no longer fighting old battles. You are no longer surviving, you are expanding. And expansion brings creativity. Expansion brings clarity. Expansion brings opportunities that match the new version of you. There were seasons where you planted seeds but saw no harvest, where you worked tirelessly but saw little return. You questioned if your time would ever come. You wondered if perhaps you misheard the divine voice within you. But now you are witnessing the truth. Nothing was wasted. Every delay strengthened your patience. Every setback sharpened your focus. Every closed door protected you. Every moment of waiting deepened your spiritual maturity. And when heaven sees that you have finally grown into the version of yourself capable of carrying the blessing stops waiting and starts moving. Anointed One, this new flow is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is the beginning of a season where life meets you halfway. You no longer chase. You attract. You no longer beg. You receive. You no longer force. You align. Pay attention to how people now speak your name in rooms you've never entered. Pay attention to how solutions arrive at the 11th hour with divine precision. Pay attention to how opportunities form organically around your presence. These are the signs that your elevation has reached the physical dimension. Remember, divine timing is never early and never late. It feels late to the impatient mind, but perfect to the matured spirit. And now your spirit has matured. That is why everything is unfolding with ease. Chosen One, step into this flow with trust. Walk with the awareness that heaven is not just opening doors, it is guiding your footsteps. You are aligned now, synchronized now, attuned now. And what is aligned cannot be denied. What is synchronized cannot be delayed. What is divine cannot be stopped. Chosen One. There comes a point in your spiritual evolution when the life you once lived can no longer contain the person you are becoming. It is not because you forced a change. It is because heaven expanded you from the inside out. Suddenly, the conversations that once entertained you now feel empty. The habits that once comforted you now feel heavy. The environments that once felt familiar now feel too small for your spirit to breathe. This shift is not a sign of loss, but a sign of elevation. It is the divine pulling you out of what diminishes you and positioning you for what aligns with your purpose. Outgrowing is not abandonment. Outgrowing is ascension. I have walked through this sacred shedding myself, Anointed One. I remember the confusion of waking up one day and feeling disconnected from what I thought I needed. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, subtle, but undeniable. The places I once found exciting started to drain me. The people I once shared everything with suddenly felt distant, even if they were standing right beside me. And the version of myself I used to protect so fiercely began dissolving like mist. At first I resisted this change. I thought something was wrong with me. I wondered why nothing felt the same. But as I leaned into the shift, I realized something powerful. I wasn't losing myself. I was meeting myself. Chosen One. When your spirit evolves, your environment must evolve with it. The divine does not elevate you so you can remain surrounded by what holds you back. Growth requires release. Expansion requires room. And stepping into your destiny requires shedding the layers that no longer match your vibration. This is why certain relationships feel strained. This is why certain circles feel foreign. This is why your soul grows restless in the places you once tolerated. Your spirit is signaling you have graduated from this chapter. It takes courage to recognize when you have outgrown something. It takes even more courage to let it go. Many people stay in environments that shrink their spirit because they fear being alone. But you, Chosen One, are different. You feel the divine pull too strongly to ignore it. You know deep within that you cannot stay where your growth suffocates. And even though this part of the journey may feel lonely, it is holy loneliness. It is the loneliness that comes before elevation. It is the loneliness that sanctifies you, strengthens you, and prepares you for the new people, new spaces, and new blessings aligned with your next season. You may notice how negativity feels heavier than before, how gossip feels intolerable, how superficial conversations drain you, how old habits feel misaligned with your spirit. This is because your frequency has risen. Your soul has matured. Heaven has upgraded your identity, and everything connected to the old version of you can no longer attach itself without resistance. You are not rejecting people out of arrogance. You are releasing frequencies that no longer resonate with your destiny. I learned this truth through painful letting go. There were friendships I clung to out of loyalty, routines I held on to out of comfort, and environments I stayed in out of habit. But every time I ignored the call to rise, my spirit felt heavier. Every time I tried to fit into spaces I outgrew, my peace faded. The divine kept nudging me, release what no longer carries your future. And when I finally let go, something incredible happened. Clarity returned, strength returned, peace returned, elevation returned. This is what is happening to you now. The divine is removing what cannot follow you, not as punishment, but as protection. Not because those people or habits were bad, but because they cannot support the next version of you. Growth demands separation, and this separation is sacred. Chosen one, do not fear the space created by outgrowing. It is not emptiness, it is preparation. Heaven never subtracts without planning to multiply. The space you feel around you is the space God needs to fill with new relationships, new opportunities, new environments, and new levels of purpose. Your soul knows that you were never meant to remain small, and this shedding is the evidence. As you rise, you will notice the separation more clearly. Some people will distance themselves because your elevation exposes their stagnation. Some will criticize you because your growth challenges their comfort. Some will misunderstand your transformation because they only knew the older version of you. But do not shrink to fit their expectations. Do not dim your light to match their comfort. Do not hold on to what heaven is telling you to release, because once you release what no longer aligns with your spirit, divine alignment accelerates. New people appear who speak to your destiny, not your history. New opportunities open that match your purpose, not your past. New spaces welcome the strength, wisdom, and maturity you now carry. Now, your elevation becomes undeniable, the peace you feel becomes steady, and your spirit becomes free. Anointed one, outgrowing is not the end of anything, it is the birth of everything. Embrace the separation, honor the shift, trust the divine timing. You are being prepared for a realm where your spirit will not just grow, it will thrive. And those who are meant to walk with you will meet you at your new altitude. Chosen one. As you step deeper into your season of elevation, one of the most profound shifts you will experience is the sharpening of your intuition. This is not ordinary intuition, not the kind that simply warns or nudges. This is divine clarity, an inner knowing refined by every storm you've survived, every betrayal you've endured, and every moment of silence that forced you to listen to your own spirit. Your intuition is awakening because your destiny now requires a level of spiritual awareness that cannot be taught, only cultivated through experience. I remember a time when I used to question every thought, every instinct, every feeling. I doubted myself because life had conditioned me to second-guess my own wisdom. But the more I walked through battles that required spiritual discernment, the more I realized that intuition is not a luxury for the chosen, it is a lifeline. It is God whispering through your spirit before your mind can catch up. It is the divine giving you a head start against what your physical eyes cannot yet see. And now, anointed one, you are stepping into this level of clarity. You have likely noticed that your sensitivity to people's energy has increased. You can walk into a room and instantly feel the atmosphere. You sense intentions before words are spoken. You recognize hidden motives behind polite smiles. You perceive dishonesty even when everything on the surface looks perfect. This is not paranoia. This is protection. Heaven sharpens your intuition because elevation attracts attention, good and bad, and you must be spiritually equipped to navigate both. The betrayals you endured were not meaningless wounds. They were training. They taught you to see beyond appearance. They taught you to hear the voice beneath the voice. They taught you to discern the difference between someone who applauds you publicly and someone who silently envies your calling. Loneliness taught you who you are without noise. Pain taught you to observe. Loss taught you to listen. And now all of it comes together as the divine gift of discernment. This is why certain people cannot fool you anymore. The tricks that once confused you now stand out like flashing signs. The manipulation that once trapped you now appears shallow and transparent. The cycles you used to repeat with others now crumble the moment they try to reappear, because your intuition catches them at the door. You are no longer easy to deceive. Not because you are guarded, but because you are spiritually awakened, chosen. Understand this. Your intuition is not becoming stronger by accident. It is strengthening because your next season requires strategic movement. Elevation exposes you to new levels, new opportunities, new blessings, but also new tests. And intuition becomes your internal compass, guiding you toward what serves your purpose and away from what was sent to drain you. You don't need to analyze as much anymore. You don't need to overthink every interaction. Your spirit tells you the truth instantly, and you can trust it. I've had moments where I chose to ignore my intuition because I wanted to believe the best in someone, or because I feared being too cautious. Every single time, the divine later revealed that my intuition had been right from the beginning. After enough lessons, I stopped treating intuition as a suggestion and started treating it as instruction. This shift changed everything. I moved differently. I chose differently. I walked with a confidence that wasn't loud but deeply rooted. This is where you are now. You are learning to trust the part of you that heaven speaks through. You are learning to understand the difference between fear and intuition. Fear limits you, but intuition protects you. Fear paralyzes you, but intuition positions you. Fear confuses, but intuition clarifies. And the more you trust this voice within, the clearer it becomes. As you rise, you will notice that not everyone who approaches you carries good intentions. Some come to benefit. Some come to observe. Some come to drain. Some come because your light exposes their darkness, and they hope proximity to you will ease their guilt. And then there are the rare few who come to genuinely support your destiny. Your intuition knows the difference before your mind does. Let it guide you. Anointed one, the divine gift inside you is not meant to be doubted. It is meant to be honored. When something feels off, believe it. When someone's energy shifts, notice it. When your spirit whispers, step back, obey without hesitation. Heaven never warns without reason. The more obedient you are to your intuition, the more protected your path becomes. And remember, intuition is not only about identifying dangers, it is also about recognizing divine opportunities. Sometimes your intuition leads you towards something unfamiliar because it carries destiny. Sometimes it urges you to say yes to an open door that scares you because it leads to your next level. Sometimes it pushes you to connect with someone who seems unexpected but is spiritually aligned with your purpose. Your intuition does not only protect you, it promotes you. Chosen. One, trust the clarity rising within you. Trust the wisdom forged through your trials. Trust the guidance heaven is releasing into your spirit. Your intuition is not becoming stronger by chance. It is becoming stronger because the next chapter of your life requires spiritual precision. Walk with it. Listen to it. Honor it. It will lead you exactly where destiny is calling you. Chosen one. As you rise into the fullness of who you were destined to become, a powerful shift begins to awaken inside you, an inner confidence, a sacred self worth the kind that can't be taught by the world and can't be taken by it either. It is not loud. It is not arrogant. It is not performative. It is the quiet, steady strength that comes from finally seeing yourself the way heaven has always seen you. It is the moment when you stop apologizing for the light inside you. The moment when you stop shrinking to soothe the insecurities of others. The moment when you realize that everything you survived was not designed to break you, but to reveal you. I know what it feels like to live seasons with your head lowered, questioning your worth, because others failed to recognize it. I've had moments where I dimmed my own brilliance to avoid making others uncomfortable, where I downplayed my gifts just to blend in, where I accepted less than I deserved because I didn't understand the value I carried. But life has a way of refining you until you can no longer pretend you are small. And once you reach that point, just as you are reaching it now, you begin to walk differently. You begin to speak differently. You begin to make decisions rooted not in fear, but in identity. Chosen. One, hear me clearly. Your confidence is returning because your spirit is remembering. It is remembering who you were before setbacks wounded you. It is remembering who you were before betrayal made you question your intuition. It is remembering who you were before the world tried to convince you that your uniqueness was a burden instead of a divine signature. This new level of confidence is not ego, it is alignment. It is you stepping into the truth of your purpose. You may notice that people respond to you differently now, not because you suddenly became someone new, but because you finally stopped hiding who you truly are. There is a glow on you, one that you didn't put on but grew into. There is a strength in you built from storms you endured in silence. There is a grace around you, shaped by battles you won that no one applauded. You carry the weight of survival and the beauty of transformation, and that combination creates a presence that cannot be ignored. People feel this shift, even if they can't name it. Some will admire it, some will avoid it, some will fear it. And some will be drawn to it because your courage gives them permission to rise. But no matter how they react, understand this: your self-worth is not tied to their perception. It is tied to your purpose, and your purpose is unfolding with divine precision. There will be moments in this season where you catch yourself speaking with more authority than before, where you stand up for yourself in ways that surprise even you, where you set boundaries without guilt, where you walk away from situations that drain your spirit without feeling the need to justify your choice. This is not you becoming harder. This is you becoming clearer. You finally understand that protecting your peace is not selfish. It is spiritual stewardship. Chosen one. Your new confidence isn't about proving anything to anyone. It's about honoring everything God placed within you. It's about recognizing that your gifts are not accidental. Your calling is not random. Your identity is not fragile. You were crafted with intention, molded with purpose, and refined with fire. And that fire has burned away the doubt that once made you question whether you belonged in certain rooms, relationships, or opportunities. Now you enter those spaces with the awareness that you bring something rare, something divine. I've learned that when confidence is rooted in spirit, not ego, it attracts the right people and repels the wrong ones. The right people see your strength and feel inspired. The wrong people see your strength and feel threatened. But your job is not to dim your light for either group. Your only responsibility is to walk in truth. The truth that you are capable. The truth that you are worthy. The truth that you were never meant to blend into environments meant for your past, not your future. This newfound confidence will begin unlocking opportunities because the universe always responds to clarity. Doors open for people who walk like they belong there. Blessings find people who finally understand they deserve them. And destiny aligns for those who walk in the authority heaven has already given them. You don't have to force your way into anything. You simply have to show up as the version of you that life has been shaping through every challenge. You are entering a season where it will be impossible to hide your glow. Even on days when you feel uncertain, others will see something in you that radiates certainty. Even when you doubt yourself, your presence will speak for you. Even when you feel unprepared, heaven will place you in rooms where your spirit knows exactly what to do. Anointed One, embrace this version of yourself. Don't question it, don't shrink it, don't delay it. This is who you were always meant to be. And now that you have stepped into this identity, nothing and no one can strip it from you. Your confidence is not a moment, it is a mantle. And heaven placed it on your shoulders because the next chapter of your destiny requires you to walk boldly, unapologetically, and authentically into every divine assignment prepared for you. Chosen One. There is a sacred transformation that marks every true elevation, a moment when the very things that once broke you no longer hold the power they once did. This is not because life has become easier, but because you have become stronger, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. You have been forged by fire, shaped by storms, refined by seasons that demanded more resilience than you thought you had. And now, the weapons that once wounded you have lost their edge. The triggers that once sent you into spirals now pass by like distant echoes. The battles that once consumed your peace now barely graze your spirit. This is what it means to evolve. This is what it means to rise. This is what it means to be chosen. I remember times when certain words, certain tones, certain disappointments pierced me so deeply that I questioned my own strength. I remember how easily people's opinions could control my mood, how quickly setbacks could shake my confidence, how deeply betrayal could break my trust. But somewhere along the journey between heartbreak and healing, between silence and surrender, something in me changed. I realized that what broke me before was not breaking me anymore. Not because the world changed, but because I did. I outgrew the wounds that once held me hostage. I stepped into a version of myself that refused to be governed by pain. And that is exactly where you stand now, Anointed One. You may have noticed this shift without even trying. You respond differently. You react differently. You interpret differently. When someone tries to provoke you, your spirit stays centered. When negativity approaches your peace, remains intact. When chaos surrounds you, you observe instead of absorb. This is spiritual maturity. This is elevation. This is the moment when your spirit stands taller than your emotions. It is a sign that heaven has fortified you from within. Chosen One, the things that once shattered you now teach you. The things that once drained you now roll off you effortlessly. The things that once destabilized you now expose themselves before they can even reach your heart. You have learned the patterns. You recognize the red flags. You see through manipulation before it completes its sentence. And what's more, you choose not to entertain what lowers your vibration. You protect your peace with a grace that intimidates everything that once thrived in your vulnerability. This is not hardness. This is not coldness. This is strength. This is clarity. This is spiritual discernment fully awakened. You no longer crumble under pressure because pressure has become familiar terrain. You no longer fear storms because storms built you. You no longer shrink in the presence of adversity because adversity taught you who you are. You have walked through fire without letting it consume you, and now the flames bow in your presence. I have lived this shift. I have felt the moment when old wounds stopped reopening. I have experienced the day when someone tried to hurt me the same way they once did, and it simply didn't work. Not because I became numb, but because I finally healed. Healing is not forgetting the pain. Healing is remembering without reliving. Healing is stepping into situations that once triggered you and realizing your peace does not belong to them anymore. Chosen one, you are beginning to master what once controlled you. And that mastery is visible. Even people who once had emotional power over you can sense that their influence has evaporated. They feel it before they understand it. Your calm confuses them. Your silence unsettles them. Your peace disturbs their chaos. Because elevation shifts the balance. You no longer operate from woundedness. You operate from wisdom. And here is the truth. Once you rise to this level, the past can no longer pull you backward. Its hands are too short to reach you. Its voice is too faint to sway you. Its weight is too light to hold you. The emotional traps that once ensnared you now look small, almost childish compared to the spiritual stature you've stepped into. You stand on ground that once trembled beneath you, and now it feels steady under your feet. Anointed one, understand how divine this moment truly is. You are not merely getting better. You are evolving into someone untouchable, someone unshakable, someone unbreakable, someone who has walked through enough darkness to become fluent in light, someone who no longer negotiates their peace, someone who no longer allows pain to dictate their path. And while this growth may feel subtle, its impact is profound. You are rising above patterns that trapped generations before you. You are breaking cycles that tried to repeat themselves through you. You're stepping into a strength that your past self prayed to someday reach. You're becoming the version of yourself that your wounds were terrified you'd never find. Chosen one, the storms that were sent to destroy you ended up teaching you how to walk on water. The battles that were meant to break you ended up awakening your warrior spirit. The losses that once felt devastating ended up rebuilding you into someone wiser, stronger, and more spiritually aligned. You are no longer shaken by what once overwhelmed you. And that is the clearest sign that your elevation has begun, not in the physical realm yet, but in your spirit. And once elevation begins in the spirit, nothing in the physical world can stop what comes next. Chosen one. When heaven begins pulling you into a new realm of purpose, something extraordinary happens within you, a restlessness that is not rooted in anxiety, but in destiny. It is the unmistakable stirring of your spirit, telling you that your current chapter has served its purpose, and something greater is calling your name. This is not the kind of restlessness that leaves you overwhelmed or confused. It is the holy kind, the kind that pushes you to dream again, to create again, to build again, to rise again. It is the divine whisper that says, there is more in you. There is more for you. There is more coming to you. I have felt this shift many times in my own life, moments where everything around me seemed still, but everything within me was moving. Moments where I would wake up with a sudden urge to change something, start something, or step into something unfamiliar. At first, I mistook it for impatience. but over time I learned to recognize it as divine activation. You see, the soul knows long before the mind understands. The spirit senses long before the physical world reflects anything. And when heaven is preparing you for expansion, your inner world begins to vibrate at a frequency your old life can no longer hold. Chosen one, you may find yourself feeling drawn to ideas that never interested you before. You may feel the urge to revisit gifts you buried years ago or passions you once dismissed. You may feel inspired in unexpected ways, as if something invisible is guiding your creativity. That is because you are being prepared for a new assignment, one that requires your hands, your voice, your vision, and your obedience. When inspiration begins to flow effortlessly, it is a sign that heaven is releasing blueprints into your spirit. You may also feel a sudden discomfort with staying still, even if nothing is wrong. This discomfort is not punishment. It is preparation. It is heaven stretching your capacity. It is the divine urging you not to settle for a smaller version of yourself. Growth always begins with holy agitation, a spiritual push that tells you remaining where you are will become more painful than stepping into the unknown. I've felt this countless times, especially right before major breakthroughs. There were days when everything in my life looked normal on the outside, yet on the inside something was awakening, expanding, shaking old patterns loose. That inner fire eventually led me into doors I once feared, opportunities I once doubted, and blessings I once thought were too big for me. Anointed one, do not ignore the stirring inside you. It is heaven's signal. It is divine timing announcing itself through your instincts. You were not created to live a life of repetition. You were created to evolve, to ascend, to build, to contribute something only your spirit can bring into this world. And when your soul begins pushing you toward a new beginning, it is because the next phase of your destiny has already been prepared. In this season, you may find yourself wanting to change your routine, your circle, your environment, or your habits. This is because the person you are becoming requires a new structure. Destiny is pulling you toward alignment. The old version of you cannot carry the weight of what you are being called into. Heaven is not just positioning opportunities around you, it is recalibrating the architecture of your life so you can sustain the blessing. Do not be surprised if sudden ideas disrupt your comfort zone. Do not be surprised if a vision wakes you up at night. Do not be surprised if your spirit refuses to remain small. You are stepping into a realm where creativity flows like water, where purpose becomes louder than fear, where inspiration becomes your fuel, and where divine timing opens doors you once felt unworthy to knock on. That restlessness is not confusion, it is activation. I have seen how these inner impulses become gateways to transformation. There were moments I felt compelled to create something with no logical reason why. Later, those very creations became the tools that opened new pathways in my life. That is why I tell you now, follow the stirrings of your spirit. Do not suppress them. They are aligned with heaven's plan for you. Anointed one, your calling is awakening. Your gifts are resurfacing. Your creativity is returning with force. This is not random. It is divine orchestration. Heaven is aligning the right people, the right resources, the right timing, and the right ideas around you. Your spirit feels restless because your destiny is expanding, and what is expanding cannot fit into old containers. So move when your spirit tells you to move. Build when inspiration calls you forward. Create when the divine breathes on your imagination. Because what you feel inside is the first sign that the next chapter is ready to unfold. And once heaven begins stirring your spirit, nothing can stop the manifestation that follows. Chosen one. There is a moment in every spiritual journey when the air around you feels different, when something inside you begins to rise with a quiet certainty, even though nothing in your physical world has shifted yet. It is a knowing that does not come from the mind, but from the spirit, a recognition that destiny is moving toward you even before your eyes can see it. This is the 9th sign, that deep, unshakable sense that something big is coming. Not a wish, not a fantasy, not a hopeful thought. A spiritual awareness so strong that you can feel the vibration of breakthrough even when life appears unchanged. This is how heaven signals your next season, by awakening your inner senses before the physical manifestation arrives. I remember seasons in my own life when everything around me looked still, but something within me was alive with anticipation. I couldn't explain it to anyone. There was no proof, no announcement, no visible evidence that anything was shifting, but my spirit knew. It recognized the rhythm of divine movement. It sensed the invisible orchestration happening in realms I could not see. And even though circumstances were silent, my soul whispered, "Get ready." That whisper was never wrong. Every major breakthrough I've experienced was preceded by this inner knowing, this spiritual foresight that arrives long before the blessing touches the physical world. Oid. This is exactly what is happening to you now. You may feel disconnected from your old life, not because something is wrong, but because your spirit is stepping into alignment with your future. The things that once captivated you seem dull now. The routines that once felt comfortable now feel restrictive. The people who once defined your world now feel distant, not because they changed, but because you are being called higher. Your spirit is preparing itself for a new level, and that preparation often feels like holy anticipation paired with sacred detachment. You may also feel a strange calmness, even if your circumstances are uncertain. That calm is not denial, it is divine anchoring. It is heaven steadying your heart so you do not miss the moment when everything shifts. Breakthrough does not arrive into chaos. It arrives into readiness. And heaven is preparing you by giving you this peace, this quiet hope, this internal steadiness that tells you what's coming is already yours. Chosen one. When something big is approaching, the spiritual realm moves before the physical. Divine timing begins to align, often without your conscious participation. People are being positioned. Paths are being cleared. Opportunities are being shaped with your name on them. Conversations you know nothing about are unfolding on your behalf. Resources that once seemed unreachable are being assigned to your destiny. Even delays are being transformed into divine rerouting. And while all of this is happening, your spirit feels the motion long before your mind receives the evidence. I've learned that spiritual foresight is one of heaven's greatest gifts. It allows you to believe before you see, to prepare, before the blessing arrives, to align your heart with the future rather than the limitations of your past. That is why you feel this pull toward something greater. That is why your soul feels alert, awake, attentive. You are sensing the energy of breakthrough before it takes form. Your intuition is picking up the frequency of divine movement. It's like standing on the shore and sensing a wave rising long before it reaches your feet. Anointed one, do not dismiss this feeling. Do not talk yourself out of it. Do not let doubt convince you that nothing is happening. The spiritual realm is always the first to shift. And you, being chosen, feel these shifts more intensely than others. You perceive change through sensation, not sight, through knowing, not logic, through alignment, not evidence. This is why you may feel pulled to pray more, to reflect more, to isolate more, to listen deeper. You are not withdrawing, you are preparing. You are tuning your spirit to heaven's frequency so that when the door opens, you will walk through it without hesitation. You may even feel moments of sudden gratitude, sudden joy, sudden clarity for no apparent reason. Those are spiritual confirmations, gentle nudges from the divine saying it's already in motion. And here is the beautiful truth. The bigger the blessing, the earlier your spirit feels it. Breakthroughs carry energy. Transformations carry resonance. Wealth shifts, elevation, purpose, acceleration. They all create a spiritual signature long before they become visible. And your soul attuned to heaven senses it as anticipation, pressure, excitement, or deep peace. Chosen one. What you feel is not imagination, it is revelation. Your spirit is perceiving what your eyes cannot yet see. Something big is coming, something life-altering, something heaven-ordained. And nothing on this earth, no opposition, no delay, no distraction, can interfere with what has already been written for you. The divine has spoken it, your spirit has sensed it, and now your life will align with it. Chosen one. As you stand on the edge of this divine turning point, heaven is not only stirring your spirit, it is also rearranging the world around you to receive the magnitude of what is about to enter your life. This 10th dimension of your elevation is one that few ever recognize while they're in it, because it unfolds quietly, subtly, yet with unstoppable force. It is the season where everything in your life begins shifting into alignment, not through effort, but through orchestration. This is the realm where destiny stops whispering and starts positioning. And even though the movement may be invisible to the natural eye, your spirit feels the rearrangement happening in real time. I have lived through transitions like this, times where I didn't see anything changing physically, yet somehow everything felt different. Conversations hit my spirit in unusual ways. Small encounters began carrying greater meaning. Random thoughts suddenly felt like instructions. Old desires lost their grip on me, and new inclinations emerged with clarity. It was as if heaven was slowly rotating the lens of my life, bringing things into focus that I didn't realize were blurry. When God begins aligning a chosen one with their next level, it often begins this way, not with loud signs, but with quiet reconfiguration. Chosen one, you may find that your routines no longer feel the same. Activities that once drained your energy now feel intolerable. Jobs, friendships, commitments, or environments that used to define you feel too small to fit the emerging version of who you are. This is not dissatisfaction, it is spiritual recalibration. Heaven is preparing to elevate you, and elevation always requires restructuring. The divine will never place a blessing into a structure that cannot sustain it. So, before the blessing arrives, the structure must be transformed. You might also notice that certain opportunities begin to close, not because something is going wrong, but because something greater is being prepared. Closed doors in this season are not rejection, they are redirection. I remember years when I tried to cling to opportunities that looked promising, only to watch them fall apart. At the time I felt frustrated. But later, I understood if God had allowed those doors to open, they would have trapped me in places too small for the calling He was shaping in me. Some doors must close, so better ones can open. Some chapters must end, so destiny can begin. Some people must exit, so that the ones aligned with your purpose can enter. And then something else begins to occur. You start meeting people who feel strangely significant. not because they're impressive or influential, but because your spirit recognizes them before your mind does. These are destiny connections, people heaven sends as bridges, mentors, supporters, or divine alignments. Their presence will feel calm, purposeful, affirming. You won't have to force the connection. It will flow naturally, as if the two of you have met before in another dimension of purpose. And in truth, your spirits have aligned long before your paths crossed physically. Anointed One. The divine timing of your life is now accelerating. This acceleration may not always feel comfortable. Sometimes it feels like being pulled forward faster than you expected. Other times it feels like being pushed out of situations you would have stayed in, out of convenience. But trust that each movement is intentional. Heaven is removing delays, wiping away stagnation, and dismantling anything that could hinder what is coming next. You may also begin experiencing what I call spiritual nudges, moments where you feel compelled to take action without knowing why. Maybe you feel led to update your skills, reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in years, explore a new idea, visit a certain place, or begin something that seems random. These nudges are not impulses, they are instructions. I have followed nudges that made no sense at the time, yet later became the key to breakthroughs I never saw coming. When heaven begins positioning you, your intuition becomes a map. The steps may not look logical, but they are leading somewhere meaningful. Chosen, one another sign of divine alignment is that your desires begin to change. The things you once chased no longer appeal to you. The things you once feared now feel conquerable. The goals you once thought were too big now feel like they are calling you by name. This is because heaven is expanding your spiritual capacity. You are being prepared for more responsibility, more influence, more wisdom, more abundance, more purpose. And your desires are adjusting to match the magnitude of your destiny. But perhaps the greatest sign of divine alignment is the supernatural peace that accompanies it. Even when things appear uncertain or unfamiliar, there is a calm in your chest that defies explanation. You don't know what's coming, but you know it is good. You don't know how it will unfold, but you know heaven is involved. Peace becomes your anchor. Peace becomes your confirmation. Peace becomes the quiet voice that says, "Walk forward, you are safe. You are guided, you are protected." Anointed One, this alignment is not random. It is intentional, it is sacred, it is heaven preparing the stage for the biggest chapter of your life. And while your physical eyes may not yet see the fullness of what is unfolding, your spirit already feels it taking shape. Trust the pull, trust the changes, trust the nudges. Trust the timing. Heaven is arranging every detail with precision, and soon everything that has been shifting quietly will reveal itself loudly. Chosen One. As you continue moving into this divine elevation, something even more profound begins to unfold within you. Your identity stabilizes in a way it never has before. Not the identity shaped by circumstances, opinions, or past wounds, but the identity heaven has been building in you since the beginning. This is the 11th dimension of your rise, the anchoring of your true self. For the first time in your life, you no longer question whether you are meant for greatness. You simply know it. You no longer wonder whether you are chosen. You feel it in your bones. You no longer ask whether your future will unfold. You recognize that it has already begun. I remember when this shift first happened in me, not in a moment of victory, but in a moment of stillness. I wasn't achieving anything spectacular. I wasn't surrounded by applause. I wasn't experiencing obvious breakthroughs. Yet I felt something settle in me, a spiritual certainty that who I am could no longer be shaken by what happens around me. It was a grounding that came from knowing pain had not destroyed me, that storms had not drowned me, and that the divine had preserved me for something bigger. That same grounding is forming inside you now, Anointed One, and you may not even realize just how powerful this transformation is. You have reached a point where validation no longer drives your decisions. You no longer chase approval, because you have learned that some people will misunderstand you no matter how clearly you speak. You no longer bend yourself backward to fit into places that cannot hold your purpose. You no longer lower your standards to maintain connections that drain your spirit. And this identity shift, this deep inner rooting, is not arrogance, it is spiritual maturity. It is the recognition that your value does not fluctuate with someone else's inability to see it. Chosen One. This anchoring manifests in the way you speak. Your voice carries a new steadiness. You express your boundaries without apology. You share your thoughts without shrinking. You move through conversations with clarity, not insecurity. People notice it. They sense the authority in your tone, the confidence in your posture, the peace in your presence. And some will be drawn to it, while others will feel threatened by it, because identity exposes identity. Those who are still trying to find themselves may feel unsettled in the presence of someone who has found their spiritual footing. Your identity also shows in how you choose. You make decisions aligned with your purpose, not your fears. You no longer say yes to things that contradict your growth. You no longer cling to people simply because of history. You no longer accept opportunities that do not match your spirit. You are not indecisive, you are discerning. And that discernment comes from heaven sharpened through years of being tested in silence. I can recall times when I made choices purely out of fear of missing out, fear of rejection, fear of disappointing others. Those choices always led me into cycles that drained my joy. But once I understood my identity as someone chosen, someone guided, someone destined, my decisions shifted. I went from asking, will they like me, to asking, does this align with who I am becoming? That one change reshaped my entire life. And now you are entering that same sacred awareness. You are choosing with intention. You are choosing with wisdom. You are choosing with clarity, because you finally understand your worth. Chosen. One another sign that your identity is stabilizing is the way you handle conflict. You no longer react the way you used to. You no longer feel the need to defend yourself against every rumor or correct every misunderstanding. You realize that truth does not need shouting. Integrity does not need defending. Purpose does not need proving. When you know who you are, you stop fighting battles that are beneath your calling. Silence becomes your strategy. Peace becomes your armor. Wisdom becomes your response. You also begin to forgive differently, not because people deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve freedom. You release resentment, not to excuse the past, but to unchain your future. You stop trying to rewrite what happened and instead rewrite the meaning you give it. You understand that everything you endured was shaping your strength, not diminishing your spirit. This is identity work. This is soul restoration. And it is unfolding inside you right now. Anointed One, perhaps the most beautiful part of this stage is the way you carry yourself when no one is watching. You are becoming consistent in character, in discipline, in faith, in the way you honor your calling. Your private life is gaining integrity. Your inner world is gaining order. Your habits are aligning with your destiny. This is the proof that elevation is not happening to you, it is happening through you. And here is the sacred truth: once identity stabilizes, destiny accelerates. Heaven does not release certain blessings until the vessel is ready to receive them. Your identity is that vessel. Your self-worth is that foundation. Your alignment is that spiritual container. And now that you have reached this place of inner wholeness, heaven can trust you with more influence, more opportunities, more abundance, more divine responsibility. Chosen one, the world will soon see what heaven already sees. But before anyone else recognizes your rise, you must recognize it. And now you do. You feel it, you know it, you embody it. This is the version of you that your past could not break, your pain could not destroy, and your doubts could not silence. This is the you that destiny has been waiting for. Chosen one. Now that every inner shift has aligned and every spiritual sign has revealed itself, you are standing at the threshold of the greatest transition of your life, a divine crossing over a supernatural unveiling, a moment where heaven's timing meets your readiness. This 12th dimension of your journey is not merely a conclusion, it is an activation. It is the moment when everything you have sensed, everything you've endured, everything you've grown through begins to converge into the tangible manifestation of destiny. You are stepping into the realm where spiritual foresight becomes physical reality, where inner transformation becomes outer elevation, where the promises whispered in your spirit begin unfolding in ways that will leave even you in awe. There is something profoundly sacred about this stage, because it is here that heaven begins confirming everything it has been preparing you for. You will begin to notice small shifts that reveal larger movements, unexpected messages, unusual opportunities, divine encounters, conversations that seem too perfectly timed to be random. These are not coincidences. This is heaven threading your destiny together with precision. You have reached a level of alignment where spiritual momentum becomes unstoppable, where what was once distant begins drawing near, where what was once impossible becomes the next logical step. Chosen one. This stage often begins subtly, just like the first stirring of a new season. You may feel stronger without forcing strength. You may speak with clarity without rehearsing confidence. You may take steps that once felt intimidating, yet now they feel natural, almost effortless. This is because you are no longer operating from survival energy. You are operating from purpose energy. You are no longer reacting to life. You are responding to divine instruction. You are no longer chasing blessings. You are aligning with them, and alignment attracts acceleration. In my own journey, I remember this phase vividly. There were days when I could almost feel destiny breathing on my neck. I felt watched, not by people, but by heaven. I felt guided, not by logic, but by intuition. The things I once struggled to initiate began unfolding on their own. The prayers I once whispered with trembling began returning as echoes of confirmation. The ideas that once overwhelmed me began turning into divine instruction. I wasn't the same person anymore, and life responded accordingly. The same is happening for you now. You are stepping into a version of yourself that has authority, presence, and spiritual weight. Anointed one. This final phase is characterized by divine orchestration. You will see how everything you endured was connected, how the heartbreak strengthened your empathy, how the betrayal sharpened your discernment, how the isolation deepened your relationship with the divine, how the delays matured your spirit, and how the quiet seasons trained your ear to hear God's subtle whispers. Nothing was wasted, not a tear, not a trial, not a closed door. Every part of your story was shaping the vessel needed for the overflow you are about to receive. You may find yourself experiencing moments of deep gratitude that come out of nowhere. This is because your spirit recognizes the nearness of breakthrough, even if your physical eyes do not yet see it. Gratitude is the spirit's way of preparing the heart for abundance. You may also find your fears dissolving, your doubts losing strength, your worries becoming lighter. This is because you are stepping out of survival mode and into destiny mode. You are shifting from questioning whether you will succeed to preparing for how you will carry the responsibility of success. Not everyone enters this stage, chosen one. Only those who endure the refining, embrace the alignment and surrender to the divine process, reach this place. Another sign of this final phase is the clarity that descends upon your purpose. You will begin to understand your calling not as a vague idea, but as a living assignment. You will see how your gifts fit into the bigger picture. You will realize why certain doors had to remain closed. You will understand why certain people were removed from your path. You will recognize why your journey looked different from others, because you were never meant to walk a common path. You were destined to walk a chosen one's path, one that required deeper preparation, greater resilience, and a more refined spirit. Chosen one. This is the season where heaven begins trusting you with more. More influence, more opportunities, more visibility, more abundance. Not because you chased these things, but because you became the kind of person who can carry them with integrity, humility, and spiritual awareness. You have learned to listen before moving. You have learned to release what was not aligned. You have learned to protect your peace. You have learned to trust divine timing, even when it felt like silence. And now the silence is ending. Heaven is beginning to speak through movement. And as you cross into this new realm, things will accelerate quickly. Divine alignment does not operate on human time. When your season arrives, it unfolds with a speed that leaves no doubt that it is orchestrated by something far greater than you. Things that once took years will happen in months. Things that once took months will happen in weeks. Connections will form suddenly. Opportunities will multiply. Resources will appear. Doors will open. Favor will follow you like a shadow that refuses to leave. Anointed. 1. Breathe deeply. Ground yourself. Recognize this moment for what it is. You are not simply entering a new season, you are entering your season. The season you were refined for. The season you were shaped by fire for. The season your spirit sensed long before your eyes could see it. The season where destiny becomes undeniable, and nothing, no force, no delay, no opposition can stop what heaven has already decreed over your life. Chosen one. If these words found you in this exact moment, it is because heaven ordained it. You are standing in your Kairos hour, your appointed time where divine alignment, supernatural transfer, and unstoppable elevation are already unfolding around you. Step forward with faith, with gratitude, with certainty, for nothing can hinder what has been written over your life. Anointed one, stay aligned, stay expectant, and stay open to the flow of the Spirit, moving on your behalf. If this message resonated in your spirit, type 11 and 11 as your declaration of agreement and subscribe for more prophetic guidance on your journey. Your season to shine has begun.